back to the Global Falcons podcast, where we interview entrepreneurs through storytelling to bring you the knowledge needed to conquer your life. I'm Andrew L.G. Hunter.
And I'm Angela Hunter.
And we're here with Justin Morrison with Local One Construction. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I mess people's business up, but I never the name. So glad to have you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So we'll get started here. As everyone knows, we ask the guest questions about their life, their business, and how they are where they are. So we'll get started with who's Justin Morrison and what do you do?
Good question. So I'm a proud Métis citizen, father, husband, family man, entrepreneur, and business owner.
Nice.
That's quite the credential list.
Yeah.
Love that.
A little bit of heritage, I guess, back with the Métis Nation. We all know who Louis Riel is. Mm-hmm. And my great-great-great-grandfather, his name was Maxime Lepine, and he was actually one of Louis Riel's good buddies.
Wow.
Partners, a partner in government. They worked really hard on protecting Métis rights.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of goes hand in hand with what's going on right now, and the push with the Métis Nation.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's great. I want to carry on that legacy. They worked hard back then. You know, in the 1800s, they fought in a war. They went to jail for treason.
Yeah. Because
they're fighting for their rights, and you know, the government came in and said, "Get off the land and fight for their land," right? So that's goes way back. You know, when my grandfather was around, he used to tell us kids, you know, your great-great-great-grandfather, he impacted the Saskatchewan world, I guess, the Métis world. So that kind of hits me to that, you know, gets you going.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me want to be involved.
Yeah.
In some way, I just
great things too, right?
Yeah, and I'm trying to find that position of how to be involved, and I think, you know, all of this is kind of really moving it.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, the business world is it's our inherited right as Métis entrepreneurs, anyways, right? So you're nailing that.
Yeah.
Our discussion before this about some of the projects you worked on all around Saskatchewan was amazing, even in BC, you were saying.
Yeah.
So how did you go from, you know, just a guy, Métis kid or whatever, to a business owner and traveling Canada, doing jobs?
Honestly, I think it goes back to, you know, my dad and my uncles all have their own. They're all entrepreneurs. They all have their own businesses. And then my grandfather, and it goes all the way back to the start, I guess. We've always had the entrepreneur in the family blood, and so I started really early. My dad had an interior business, housing interior business, and so I started, you know, 13, 14 years old at work. Dad said, "You want to do this? You want to play hockey? You want to do this? So you're going to come to work with me."
Nice.
Which is actually great because nowadays you don't see much of that, and that's where you learn. You know, hands-on is really where you learn the construction industry.
Yeah.
Even about pain, you know.
All the pains, you bet.
My thumb, I'm surprised, isn't a pancake.
Well, actually, my thumb's cut in half. So
exactly.
Good old drill, eh?
Yeah, I did that the other day. Actually, it goes right to the bone. That one
fun.
There.
Yeah. The good old hand stitches and the hand scars, and
each one has a story.
A story for all of them.
Mine is just paper cuts. Everywhere. Always paper
So
cuts.
tell us about your business. How did you start that?
So actually, I started my business young. I was in high school.
Oh, wow.
I started doing some smaller jobs for a builder that my dad was doing jobs for. That the small jobs just weren't big enough for for companies. So I came in. I was 16 years old. I said, "Well, I got my car and I got some tools. I can do it." So I did. I started on small little jobs, little drywall and taping jobs, and then it led to bigger jobs. And so I did that for a couple of years throughout high school. My teachers didn't really like me because of it. Except for my Christian ethics teacher.
Yeah.
She said, "Hey, if you need to do business calls, just sneak out the back door and go ahead."
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
So
It's rare to find a teacher like that.
Very
Yeah.
rare. Especially nowadays, that would never happen.
Yeah, I bet you just got on their nerves because you were probably queued up to make way more than they ever.
Yeah. So did that until I was just about 19 years old. Or no, I had just turned 19 years old. And my Uncle Leo was actually in real estate.
Right.
So he said, "Hey, it's busy. Come sell real estate if you want." So, I was like, that sounds interesting. I think I'd probably do that. So took my exams, took my courses, did all the things and started that. And it was about 16 years ago.
Wow.
And I spent a good part of 13 years selling real estate and flipping houses at the same time.
Nice.
Yeah.
You got it. Right?
Yeah. So, and living in the flips.
Yeah.
You know a little bit about that. Yeah. So that was, what I did for a long time, and actually, good friend of mine, one of my best buddies, my partner now, Ryan Chernesky, partner in Local One Construction. He reached out and said, "Hey, I'm getting into these bigger jobs," and we were doing some insurance work, some fire, flood, restoration type of work.
A lot of that.
And we had got a call, acquaintance of ours, out to this small community, First Nation community in Clemtu, BC. So a small little island, 300 people, big fishery island. So the school had flooded over the weekend, and he called and said, "I have no clue who to call. Like, would you guys be interested in flying down here and coming to do it?" So we kind of thought about it and said, "You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's try it out." So we went out there and took 4 flights to get there. And the last plane actually looked like a boat and landed right in the water. It was kind of
crazy.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Really cool experience. So we were out there for a good.
Definitely don't want to forget a tool.
Oh yeah. Flew down there, and then actually we actually drove down a couple times with trucks and trailers, all the necessities.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was an experience, and at the end of the day, helping the community in need kind of impacted me. And I said, you know what, let's do more of this. And the word spread out, and all of a sudden we were, after that job, we went to another building that had similar situation on the island, fixed that one up, which was actually a newer building it was called Spirit Bear Lodge. Actually, it's a pretty high-end lodge that celebrities go out to, and
oh wow!
So was the staff accommodations building, and it also had flooded. So we went in there, fixed that all up, and from there we just went south to the main islands and did some more restoration work for different communities, and the word passed around, and we went from community to community and helping in their needs. a big part of the BC First Nations is that they have big houses, they call them. So that's like their spiritual heritage buildings.
Mm.
Okay.
They have like live fires in there, and they do their ceremonies in there.
Mm-hmm.
We've now done 4 big houses on 4 different nations.
Cool.
3 restorations and 1 new build.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that was very impactful for our team, myself.
Yeah.
You know, and now we're at this point where I want to bring that back to our people.
Yeah.
You know, to our community,
100%.
because every community is in need.
Yeah.
It's not just the First Nation communities; it's small towns, small communities, but also the Métis Nation. The Métis communities have been neglected for a really long time, and I think we can definitely make an impact there.
Love that.
Yeah.
Right there with you, man.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many you even said, there's so many these local buildings that need to be made. Like I know from running in this election that there's like almost every single one of these locals doesn't have their own building. And it breaks my heart because they're taking rent money and just throwing it away and never getting that back in equity or a long-standing location.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I hear you there.
Yeah.
It needs to happen. Good for you.
Yeah.
Love that.
So we definitely see the need in both the commercial industry and the residential industry.
Mm-hmm.
And the commercials, it's a different ball game compared to building houses or small townhouse duplexes, but it's a need. It's a need, and the communities can't get together right now. So a lot of them don't have a place to get together. So they're like you said, they're renting and they're booking a rental space 30 minutes away, an hour away. So half of the community can't even attend because they don't have way of transportation. 2, they're not in the right health to get there. So they miss out on all these community events, and I don't think it's fair, right?
Yeah.
There needs to be hubs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love that. So, I mean, that's a great start for your business background, your personal background. Real quick, you said you're a family man. How many kids do you have?
So we got 3 kids now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now they outnumber you.
Yes.
You're in danger territory.
One's turning 19 next week.
Oh, wow.
And then we have a 2-year-old and one turning 6 months next week as well.
Damn, 19. How old?
I am 35.
Wow.
I have to think about that for a second. As you get older, you're like, how old am I again?
19.
Yeah. So I met my wife. She had her daughter, a niece, prior. She was 4 years old when I met them.
Good for you, man.
Yeah. So it's been a really good experience.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, we have an almost 16-year-old, and teenagers are a whole different.
It is. Hey? It is a new ball game. It's fun. It's different layers.
Yeah, I can because you're relating to almost the same things that are going on in both of your lives. Whereas before it was like, school stuff or somebody made fun of me on the playground, but now it's like real life things that you can connect with.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into these more though.
What gave you the drive to achieve success? You kind of touched on a little bit of having that family influence. Was there anything else?
Yeah, definitely family influence. Probably working for myself and not others. I mean, as an entrepreneur, you're technically not working for yourself. You're working for your clients, but you got multiple different clients, right? And you have the opportunity to work at your own hours and your own time, right? Where it's not like, okay, you're coming to work 9 to 5 and you're paid X amount and that's it. So that was a big drive. Definitely family influence. I've grown up around entrepreneurs my whole life, so
Yeah.
I kind of thought that was a norm, I guess.
Yeah.
And then starting young, I had the taste of it, and
Yeah, it's hard to give up that freedom.
yeah, the freedom is one thing. Some people that don't understand entrepreneurship are like, oh yeah, you got the freedom to do whatever you want. It's like, actually, some days I'd rather work a 9 to 5 and just go home and shut off. But that's just not it doesn't work like that, right? So yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Come on, cue these up.
What was your first achievement and the story behind it? Like first bigger project?
I guess my first achievement would have been my first company when I was young. But if we're talking about my current business, the biggest achievement was seeing the impact we made in the first community we were in. It was a huge impact to them. They would have been left in neglect for a long time. By the time somebody were to come there. So it was just right time, right place, right time. But after seeing conception to completion, that was a big achievement. It felt great. It felt good to help people in need.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, where we continue. We like that feeling, and we like to not only run a business, but to impact others.
Yeah, everyone always thinks it's the money.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
No. I mean, because you can make money anyway, right?
You can invest the money you have in stocks right now and make money.
Right.
But it's not about.
Yeah. It's that, for me, it's always been seeing, the transformation of something, and then for the people that it looked, just like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The transformation is huge. Going from something that's severely damaged or severely in need, and then, to something beautiful and glorious. It's like, wow.
When you see people's eyes, like,
yeah.
Whoa.
And they're like, oh, wow. Yeah. And I mean, within our company, it's a lot of entrepreneurs, they work themselves, and it's basically them. We have a team, so it's the entire team gets that recognition. We all get to prosper.
Yeah.
We all get to enjoy the finished product, and the marketing and the taking photos and progress photos has been helpful to visualize that, right? So there's a lot of entrepreneurs that think they don't have time for it, but you just gotta make the time. Right? It's one of those things where you got a phone in your pocket. Pull it out, take videos, take pictures, even just for yourself, just to look back in a couple of years and be like, oh yeah, we did that job. I forgot about that one. That was beautiful countertops. I'm going to use that on the next one. Yeah. It's just one of those things, right?
Yeah, well, Andrew's phone always has thousands of pictures.
Oh, yeah. That's literally the thing that gets capped out for my storage.
Yeah, the storage. Every year I got to delete the past year.
Yeah, put it on a big terabyte. But yeah, with you mentioned insurance. That was one of the ways that it ingrained into me to always take photos of everything, right? Because they insist that you do like every stage, every inch, floor to ceiling pictures, right? So was that a big factor for you too?
Not only insurance, but inspections too, right? Like sometimes the inspectors couldn't get there, or they were sick that day,
and you got to keep going.
And luckily we had photos, so they're like, oh, that's perfect. You send them the photos, and they're able to use them, right?
Yeah.
Where
very good.
If you didn't take them, an inspector might be pretty ruthless and say, well, no, take the walls apart. I want to see what's behind.
Yeah.
And then, you have no choice, right?
Yeah.
If you want that sign off, you almost have to. But the pictures have saved us in that sense a couple times.
That's good. Yeah. So for the social media and using them to gain clients? Has that been a learning curve, a challenge?
I think we're in a pretty niche market. Posting stuff online is just more recollection. More
Portfolio.
just more telling people what we're doing. Our clientele base is communities where a lot of entrepreneurs are looking for owners or homeowners or car owners or anything, right?
Yeah.
Where in that aspect, it's probably easier with the social media because you can gain clients like that. Where we're there to help communities that don't know how we could help. So, we can come in there and say, hey, look, we know of a fund. We work with this Indigenous consultant and we know of some funds that we may be able to get this building repaired for you. And sometimes they don't know, their staff's not large enough or they don't have someone in charge of that section.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, right?
I like that.
Social media is just really just to show people what we're doing, showcase, the workmanship we've done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Good portfolio. It's like the storage, right? Storage for your phone.
Yeah.
On the cloud.
On the cloud. Yeah.
That kind of ties in with the next question. What do you think your biggest challenge of being an entrepreneur has been?
Oh boy, that's a great question. There's challenges every day.
Yeah.
Honestly, being an entrepreneur is like being a problem solver. There's, like you probably know, there's problems that come up on the daily. It could be small, it could be large, it could be simple or technical. Definitely keeping your team transparent and communication between the team is we've learned is very important. Just so everybody knows what's going on, so there's no loss of time trying to figure out. One guy's trying to figure out what's going on, and the other guy knows, but he didn't tell him. And having somebody kind of in charge of it all. We have our assistant Emily. She's a rock star. She's awesome. She kills it. She's keeps everything together, which is highly important.
Yeah.
And if you're just starting out as an entrepreneur, I mean, you got to do that yourself until you grow your team. But it's very important to keep things organized. A daily task list is important. Some people like writing it. Some people, you put it in your phone. Notes in your phone. It's easy to just keep your task, because as an entrepreneur, you're getting dragged in 10 different ways in a day. You get a call and you could forget what you're doing 5 minutes ago.
That's right. Yeah.
Right? And then the next day you're like, oh, I didn't do that yesterday. Keeping a log of what you need, your tasks you need to do, and what you need to give out for tasks. If you have a team.
Yeah.
Don't try and do it all yourself. I mean, at the start you kind of have to, but it's a lot smaller when you're starting.
Yeah.
So it's a little easier to do it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I was actually, while you were saying that, I was going to ask you if there's any like programs or systems in place, but you kind of nailed that. Yeah.
So what is your favorite part about being an entrepreneur after talking about the challenges? What do you like about it the best?
What do I like about it? Well, one, I work closely with my good buddy. So working with one of your best friends is huge.
Yep.
That's makes things exciting. Like working with your brother, though. It's got challenges and it's great though. It's awesome. And the freedom to how can I say that? the freedom to build something that you desire for yourself, but for others.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
That's
Also,
a good way of putting that.
Yeah, and that goes hand in hand with our motto is helping communities grow their community together.
It's a good stick.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll go into a community and every time we'll ask, is there people within the community that we can educate, train, and hire and show them during the construction, if it's either renovations or a new build. That way, when we leave, there's somebody within the community that knows the building from start to finish.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
And I
that's
think
amazing.
that really sticks.
Yeah.
And I think it's important because for the last 15 years, there's a lot of communities that have had new construction done. But when they're done, the big companies, when they're done, they're done, they're gone.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's no maintenance crew, there's no maintenance guy. They don't know where anything is. And we've come across it where we've come to do some renovations on some buildings, and okay, well, where's this? Where's that? Where's electrical panel? Where's the HVAC unit? They don't even know because they've never been taught.
Yeah.
And I think that is the contractor's duty, to educate somebody within the community. And usually, the decision makers are not the right people for that because they're too busy, to show the chief where the furnace is and where the HVAC units is and where to change a filter and where the emergency shutoffs are. And he's too busy for that.
Yeah, they got a lot on their plate.
He or she's too busy for that, I should say. He or she. So yeah, it's important. I think that's one aspect that we care about.
That's a lot different. I've never heard that before.
What?
That's excellent. Well, just like the training like that from someone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is really smart. I love it.
Yeah.
And the value it brings to that community too.
It's huge.
Economically wise.
Yeah.
Putting money back in the pockets of the people around there. That's great.
That's our big project we just completed. It was a 2-year project, and we actually hired at one time. We had about 14 community members working with us.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Everybody's nephew and uncle, and they all, whoever was looking for a job and they were capable, we gave them the chance, right?
Yeah. It's nice when families work together.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone says family and business don't mix. I just don't see that. I think there's a lot of room for that. I feel like maybe that's like this thing that's said so that it keeps people kind of down, instead of like getting stronger together, So
yeah, I'm fortunate. I get to work with my mom. I brag about it all the time. I love it.
Yeah, her mom's actually her assistant, which is funny.
Cool.
It should maybe
she is the hardest working employee here. She's the best.
Funny that you say that. My mom works with us too.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's
family, man.
She does all the bookkeeping.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
she's very involved. It's awesome.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Moms are great to have around.
Yeah.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah. Shout out to all the moms.
I guess
it's Mother's Day weekend.
Mother's Day weekend. Tomorrow's Mother's Day. Right on.
Killing it, moms. So when did you first realize your business idea had the potential to be successful?
I mean, I guess in construction, there is some success there if you know what you're doing, right? Again, success is a big word. Success could mean, seeing the smile on your client's face. It could mean having a beneficial business. And then, but in business, you're always reinvesting. As an entrepreneur, you win some and then you reinvest it. The growth that's the only way you will grow. Without that, you're just going to stay at the same level, I guess. Which also comes with its challenges, right? growth is it's difficult.
Mhm.
It's not easy.
Yeah. Taking
And
that leap of
I
faith.
bet you any entrepreneur out there would highly agree with that.
Yep.
100%.
It's not being an entrepreneur is not easy on its own, but growing what you're building is also not easy.
Mhm.
And I think us as Métis citizens, we can definitely help each other out. I think that's where we need to go is build together.
Mhm.
You know,
Absolutely.
everybody can help each other out. Our nation is big enough to prosper that.
Mhm. And it's only growing.
It's only growing. Yeah,
Well said.
it's been really neglected for a long time, and I think it's our time to shine, right?
Absolutely.
I guess that kind of ties in with, so why do you think entrepreneurship is so important for Métis citizens?
I think it's important because it's been almost not forgotten about, but somewhat neglected.
Mhm.
I think there is a lot of smart entrepreneurs in the Métis Nation, that Métis citizens, that just need each other to grow.
Mhm.
I think working together, we can all grow. You know,
Yeah.
I guess also with the backing of the actual nation, you know, to the nation's growing. So why don't we get these entrepreneurs, Métis entrepreneurs, to help grow the nation, and then they
Yeah.
can benefit as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know?
Yeah. Boost that whole
Yeah,
economic development.
Let's start from the top and go all the way down and have everybody prosper.
Yeah.
Mhm. Enabling the citizens and the entrepreneurs. I
Yep.
love that.
Yep.
That's like literally what I preach on a daily.
So we kind of just talked about it, but how would you personally define success in your own business for you?
Success. That's so much.
I think, you know, back to what I was saying, seeing the customer's reaction,
Yeah.
that the end result definitely would be successful to me. You know, having a happy and a happy client at the end of the day or a customer is huge.
Mhm.
And then when it's a larger scale, you know, a happy community is even bigger.
Yeah.
You know, to go to the community event, the grand opening, and having 1,000 people just smile ear to ear is like, that is success.
Yeah.
Um,
Making a big impact,
Yeah.
big difference.
yeah.
We're coming near the end of our questions here.
I
Good.
know.
You're doing a really good job, I just want to say.
Yeah,
These
awesome.
are great answers, and I think it's going to help a lot of people.
Sweet. Yeah.
So how do you identify and capitalize on emerging market trends?
That again, being in the know on social media
Mhm.
is a big aspect. A lot of people are using social media now to promote or just get people to be knowledgeable about what they're doing or what they're saying, or
Mhm.
or an event, or that's, I think, a really big one. Yeah. What else can I say about that? Touch.
Well, being in the know, I mean, that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean,
well said.
20 years ago there was no social media,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
so like it was basically all word of mouth,
Yeah.
and like phone call on the landline, and like, hey, what's going on over there? You know?
Yeah, or just like knowing somebody was going to be somewhere without even
and
saying
like
it,
trying to
and
meet them there at that same time. That's good.
funny.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny now when people give me a landline number, it like throws me off. Like, you still use that?
Yeah.
Is there a lot of people?
Yeah. What time and what day? Are you driving or are you walking?
That's funny. That's a good blast of the past there.
So how do you create work-life balance in your own life?
That's a tricky one for people.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question for a lot of entrepreneurs out there. Honestly, reading books and learning on how to do it. There's professionals out there that've done it already. They're older, they've gone through it, and now they're telling their story and they're saying, if I could go back, this is what I would do.
Yeah.
And this might help you. So I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and a lot of ebooks and reading some books that kind of touch on that. The family life is really important.
Yeah.
Without your family, your business is probably not going to work. They go hand in hand, and a lot of the time, the business is going to say, "No, I need you. No, I need you. No, I need you." But you need to give that time to your family as well. It's important, and it balances your brain, balances your emotions, especially the emotions, because you can get pretty ups and downs during the day, during a work day, right?
Yeah.
And obviously your kids are going to bring that joy back to the end of the day, or
Until
the beginning of the day, or until they're a teenager, and then
all they bring is stress.
And
they
know everything. Right? They know it all. Yeah. And you know what? We've been there. And now we think about it and we're like, that's why my parents said that.
Yeah.
That is why,
Yeah. That's why it's great working with my mom now. All the time when my teenage son gives me troubles, I can go to my mom and be like, now I know how smart you really are.
Yeah, now I know why you said that to me, because now I'm saying the same words to my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Our kids are great, man. I get you there.
Yeah.
That's probably the best answer we've had yet. Is the work-life balance, including the family and that life.
Yeah, and I mean, include your family in your business, right? Don't seclude them.
Yeah.
If you need help, if you needed help, if I needed help with something, and I went to my wife and said, hey, I need your help with this, she would love to help me. And I'm sure it's like that in any way, right, you guys?
Oh yeah.
Some people forget that, and they're just so focused on their business, and it could lead to some pretty negative things within the family side of things.
Yeah.
So it's very important. Back to your question, it's very important to have that work-life balance.
Bring them in. Yeah, that's kind of the end of the questions, but
you killed that.
Yeah, right on.
Seriously.
Yeah.
What is there anything you want to leave the viewers with about yourself, your business, maybe entrepreneurship as a whole, or maybe just Métis?
Yeah, honestly, I'm here today just to speak with you and kind of give you our story, and we're here to help. So that there's communities out there that need some help and they don't know where to go, or the band doesn't know what to do next, because there is some small communities out there that they wouldn't even know the next step on how to. And there's a lot of, with our government right now, there's a lot of funding out there. Yeah. And if we can help, we'll definitely help.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well done.
Awesome.
Justin Morrison.
Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Oh, it's so great having you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been the Global Falcons podcast. That was Justin Morrison with Local One Construction, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for coming.